welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time you are joining me. As you can see from the title, I am doing a tag video today, and this is a response to a tag that was started by Imogen over at Sapling Tarot. The original video is in the description box below, and it came off the back of a tag that was doing the rounds in the makeup community, I think. I actually first saw it on Julie at Peekaboo Rose's channel, and I really like the questions, and actually I think my answers are probably going to be very similar to hers, but I wanted to do it anyway, so here we are. This is all about having a tarot deck collection. I can't remember if I said that already, but it's in the title anyway, and so I'm just gonna jump right in with question one. There are 14 questions altogether. Question one is, how long have you been collecting decks? I have been actually collecting tarot decks since around the same time as I started my channel, so around 2018. Before then I had decks, I'd had more than one deck, but I quite often had a deck that I brought in and I used it for a while and I didn't really jive with it, or I kind of got sick of using it even, or whatever, and so I would send it out and bring another one in, and I never really had more than one or two decks in my home at a time. And then I started to discover lots and lots and lots of new decks when I joined TarotTube back in 2018 and started to buy more, basically, and realised that I didn't have to get rid of them. I could just put them away on my shelf for a little while, try a different one for a while, and go back to it when I felt ready. And that was almost like a revelation for me. Question number two, what kind of collection do you have? Minimal, utilitarian, aesthetic, historical, etc. Like every area of my life, I would say eclectic. I do have a pretty wide range of tastes and styles and aesthetics. There's definitely nothing minimal about anything that I do ever. And the aesthetic is not a choice that I've made, that I'm not looking for a certain style or a certain type of deck. I see something, I like it, I get it. And so I have like cute decks, creepy decks, cute and creepy decks. I have more traditional decks, more modern decks, I have animal decks, I have decks with no people in now, I have all kinds of stuff going on in my collection. Question number three, are you a completionist? I'm not entirely sure what this really means in the context of tarot deck collecting, but I'm assuming it means, like, do I have to have all of the decks by one particular creator? In which case, no, I'm not. I do own all of the Three Trees tarot decks, but not because I have to have them because I have one, but because I have so far liked all of the decks that they've created, and will probably buy the next tarot deck too, because I love that little jumping spider. But I'm not really one for having like must buys with anything. I'm the same with books. I have authors that I love, but I don't feel like I have to have their books. I'm very much driven by how I feel about each individual deck and whether or not it's a deck that I think I like enough to spend money on. Question number four, how do you organise your collection? I really appreciate the assumption that I organise it in any way at all. I am not going to show you pictures because it's not fit for human consumption right now because it needs organising and sorting. But I have a bookcase that is specifically for tarot, oracle, the Normand, that kind of stuff. So I have all of my decks on the bookcase along with any kind of tarot, oracle, the Normand books that I have collected over time. But now I have not enough space for for everything that I own. The bookcase is not big enough, and so I have to make some decisions about how I handle that moving forward, and it's not particularly organised right now, other than all of the tarot is on one shelf, all of the oracle and everything non-tarot is on another shelf, and all of the books are on the bottom shelf. But I think I might have to revisit that pretty soon. And by pretty soon I mean like last week. Question number 5. What is your favourite thing about your collection? Just the fact that it exists, really. I love that it's mine. I love that it's there is something there for pretty much any mood that I find myself in, and that it accurately reflects, I think, who I am as a person, in that how I feel, or what I want, or what I need, or what kind of art style I'm craving. It really does change on a day-to-day basis, and to just be able to have the kind of collection that allows me to go with my mood when it comes to picking tarot decks, I love that. I love that, and I love that everything in there is in some way a reflection of me and who I am. Question number 6. What is your least favourite thing about, or something to improve your collection? Just how badly organised it is right now. And how I live in a very small flat. My flat has 4 rooms, and one of them is a kitchen and one of them is a bathroom, just to give you an idea of the size we're dealing with here. And so there isn't more space that I can give to my collection, but I don't feel like I'm done collecting. And so that is something that I dislike, I guess, or is my least favourite thing, is how much space it takes up, and how I wish I could have everything that I have, but it take up less space. I don't actually know how that would work, but that is what I wish for in my life, to be able to have all the things that I want to have, but have them take up less space. Question number 7. What is the biggest category of your collection? So talking about divination as a whole, like cartomancy type divination as a whole, it's definitely tarot. Within tarot, it's definitely RWS style decks. I only have a couple that I would say were Marseille, and a couple that I would say a Thoth, and everything else is probably some iteration of RWS. I'm looking over there because that's where my tarot deck collection is. So apologies for staring off randomly into space while I'm talking to you. And then I do have quite a lot of Oracle decks too, but not nearly as many. And then I have like 6 Lenormand decks, I think. I don't have Kipper, and I do have playing cards, but for playing cards, not for divination. And I only have a couple of playing card decks. Oh, I've already answered that. Question number 8. What is the smallest category of your collection? Excluding playing cards, which I don't collect and I don't buy for divination purposes, then it would be Lenormand, where I have 6. I haven't actually touched them for a really long time as well. And this is making me think that I really need to get back into Lenormand this year if I can make time for it. Question number 9. Do you have a holy grail in tarot? No. Right now, I would have to say no, I don't. I am sure that somewhere out there is the perfect heather deck. Like the perfect heather deck that just encapsulates everything that I want from a tarot deck. I have yet to discover it. And so that imaginary deck in my head that may or may not exist would be my Holy Grail deck, but I have not seen it, so I could not tell you what it is. And it's pretty possible that it doesn't exist and that there is no one perfect deck out there for me, because that doesn't feel very realistic. But if there is, I haven't seen it. Question number 10. Do you ever wish your collection was bigger, smaller, or is it complete? I don't really think about things like that. It's just not the way my brain functions. I never really look at my deck and think, my collection and think, oh, I wish I had less, or I wish I had more, or no, that's it now, I'm done. Like, I think because I don't really, outside of like conversations in the tarot space, I don't really think of it as a collection. It's just lots of individual decks that I have got and acquired because I liked each individual deck. And because I don't really in my head picture it as a collection, I don't really think about it in terms of a collection. And so I don't really think about it in terms of how big or small it is. I don't know if I'm ever going to be done buying tarot decks, because I'm constantly finding ones that I really like and I want to own. And I am definitely buying less than I have done in the past, but that's not to say that it's because I'm somehow slowed down or I'm finding less decks that I like. It's just that right now I'm finding less decks that I like. Next year there could be a rush on decks, then they're all decks that I want to have in my life. So I tend to think about, I don't know why I did this. I'm not doing a very good job of this at all, am I? I just tend to think of my decks separately, I guess. And so I'm finding that question very difficult to answer. Question number 11. Question number 11. How often do you declutter your collection? Never. And that is shocking to admit to, I'm sure, in, the tarot space where people are constantly talking about decluttering and, just like curating their collections in ways that seem very sensible and interesting. I am not that person. I'm a fucking hot mess, okay? I'm a hot mess. I don't really do decluttering as in general. I occasionally just don't touch a deck for years and years at a time because I've kind of lost interest in it. And every so often I do give decks away, not because I'm like, okay, it's time to declutter, but because I have a deck and I think, I don't really like this anymore, and I think this person would like it more, and then I just give it to them. But I never have moments of, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to declutter my tarot decks. Question number 12. Do you ever get envious seeing other people's collections? No, not really. I love seeing other people's collections. I love hearing people, I love seeing other people's collections. I don't really watch collection videos as such, but I do like hearing people talk about decks that they own and why they own them and what that deck brings to their collection, or how it fits into their collection, or how it changed the way they read, or how they use it in a specific way. So I love hearing people talk about the decks that they own. I don't really think I have FOMO in as much as I have to get decks that everyone else is talking about. Just because I know my own taste so well. And also if somebody shows a deck that I really love, I'll probably just buy it because I really love it. And if it's out of print, that's just how it goes, right? You can't win them all. So no, I wouldn't say I ever really get envious of people's collections. I admire people's collections, especially people who have really well curated collections where they have very specific themes, or they have decks that fit very specific, I want to say niches, but I don't think that's the right word. But anyway, I'm going to use it, like very specific niches within their collection. And they genuinely, when they look at decks and they think, I'm going to buy this deck because this fills this hole in my collection where I don't currently have something. I really admire that. I'm not envious. I kind of am envious of that level of organisation, but I'm not envious of their collection. I'm envious of their skills at curation, I think. Question number 13. Who on YouTube has the best collection videos? Like, I don't know, because I don't watch collection videos. I do like, so like Robin Reflections, for example, does videos of decks, and they show individual decks. And I do like those kind of videos. I do like to be able to watch a walkthrough of a deck, because I like to see every card in a deck before I buy it, because if there's a couple of cards that really turn me off, as we've already established, I'm probably just gonna, like, if I own that deck, I'm probably just gonna own it forever, because I don't do any kind of decluttering or curation of my decks whatsoever. And so I like to see whole walkthroughs of decks, and I like people who post walkthroughs of decks, and I think just by extension you get to see their collection because they're posting the decks, they're doing walkthroughs of the decks that they own. Boasty, a Kelly Sunflower, has always had a deck collection that I admire, right back from when I started on YouTube. I remember she has always posted deck walkthroughs and has always had the most amazing, eclectic collection of decks. But I don't really know off the top of my head. Question number 14. What's some advice you'd give to a future or new collector? I mean, my advice for anything, anytime, ever is always don't do what I do, because what I do is not at all what most people are doing. But seriously, in all seriousness, I don't know that I have any advice as such about being a collector, other than, like, you do you, okay? Just you do you. Your collection can be as big or as small, or as minimal, or as varied, or as aesthetic, or whatever, as you want it to be. As long as you're buying the decks ethically, as long as you're not putting yourself in debt or doing yourself any kind of harm, I think that you should just buy what you want. Buy what you want. Curate your collection in any way that you please. I think that's totally fine. I do think that, the conversations around consumerism and all of those kind of conversations around the environment and those things around debt collecting are valuable and valid, and we should be having them as a community. But I do think that they have a tendency to move into shaming people for their choices, and I'm never on board for that. So I just think, like, you do you. That is my general advice, life advice to people in everything that we ever talk about, is ultimately you do you, and don't let people make you feel bad for the choices that you're making for yourself. The only person who has to live with the decisions that you make about how you spend your money and what you bring into your home and what you bring into your collection is you. So don't let strangers on the internet tell you what to do. I guess. I don't know. That's how I feel about that. Yeah. So that was it. This was a shit show of a tag. I actually really enjoyed myself. I'm not sure how much you will have enjoyed this, but if you stuck around with me till the end, thank you very much. And I shall see you all again very, very soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.